Hey, what's up YouTube? Down to Fix It Man. Got another quick video here for you. I'm going to show you how to change your front brake pads and rotors on a 2011 Toyota Tundra. Now, before you say, hey, those pads don't look like they're worn down at all, that is true, and I'll explain what's going on here. So what had happened is this power steering rack had leaked. I already replaced it, but you can see how shiny this rotor is. All of this is coated in power steering fluid. The pads are completely soaked and saturated, along with the inside of this fender and everything else. So that is the reason for the change, is this is just not stopping properly and it's just not safe. So we're gonna go ahead and change out the rotor and the pads. Now, the first thing that I like to do is push these caliper pistons back in to give us room for the new thicker pad material. But in this case, you can see the pads are not very worn down because this is a fairly recent brake job that they had done. But let's go take a look at the master cylinder, make sure that that's at the appropriate level. We just need to make sure that there's enough room for the additional brake fluid that's gonna be pushed back up this line and into that reservoir. So let's go take a look at that right now. Okay, so here's our brake master cylinder, and you can see on the side here, we are below the max line, and so there is enough room for me to push those caliper pistons back in and not overflow this. Now, a lot of people ask if you need to take this cap off when doing so, and you really don't. The cap is somewhat vented and any trapped air can still escape as you push that back in, and I really don't notice a big difference in the resistance. This is the way that I've done it for many years. Part of the reason for not taking this cap off is because brake fluid is hygroscopic, meaning that it absorbs moisture or even the moisture in the air. So if you expose it to new air, there's more moisture in that and it can draw that in and cause the brake fluid to degrade and go bad. So I usually will leave this on unless I can't see through the side and need to check that level. In our case, it looks like we're good to push that back in. So let's go do that now. Now, there's lots of ways to push these caliper pistons back in. You could actually take the pads out and use some little clamps in there, even take the caliper off. I usually will just grab a little pry bar, a little short stout pry bar, and try to wedge it in between the pad and the rotor. And that usually works pretty well. In this case, it looks like there's not a lot of room in there. So I'm going to use these smaller demo drivers from Mayhew. They're kind of like a screwdriver, but they're made for prying, and it looks like they'll fit in there just fine. Now we have two pistons on either side, so I'm just going to have to shift this around a couple times until we can get some space in there. Again, I'm not going to have to go very far because these pads are still pretty thick. I'm going to shift it over to this side. Sometimes you just have to alternate the pressure in between there. Now the rotor's held on by the lugs and it's already loose, and so you can see that it's kind of moving around in here too. But I think right about there, we've probably got them pushed back far enough in. We're not going to have any trouble at all fitting the new pads in there now. All right, now these pads are held in by the two slide pins that are also held in place by this outer clip right here. We're going to pull that out here in a minute, but I wanted to point out these little M springs, or I guess this is a W spring. This is normally only at the bottom on either side, but on this one I have one in the top and one in the bottom. Not sure why. Maybe a kit came with some extras and somebody put them all back in. Our kit does come with replacements, but I'm just going to be putting them in the bottom. So just wanted to make that note before I take this apart. But these come out pretty easy. You can just pull on this little clip here, pull it out of the pins. The pins have holes at the end, and then just pull this out. It just kind of fits right through there. Now you can tap these pins out if you need to. Just grab a hold of that, pull it all the way out. Same with this one here. And I'm gonna pull out this spring and this one here. Now I'm just gonna pull out the old pads. Again, these are not worn down, but we're gonna play it safe and replace them because they're saturated in power steering fluid. Now I can pull out the inside pad here. There you can see we've got our little noisemaker facing down on the inside. Now, before I take off this caliper or take out these bolts that hold it on, I'm going to take out this bolt up here that holds this brake line mounted to this part of the knuckle. That's going to allow us to move this and hang it out of the way. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do that because the line is rigid and we just don't want to risk bending that brake line. I'm going to use a 12mm socket on here and loosen this up. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to use this 17mm socket to take out the two caliper bolts. And I'm just going to grab this hook right here, and that's going to let me just carefully swing this over out of the way. There we go. Now let me show you what I did here, because I did not want to pull this ABS line. I kind of am pulling it. I guess I could have taken this out of its mount. All right, there we go. So I've got the caliper hanging here. I ended up using 2 of these hooks and linking it up here on the spring. Now, if you want to play it safe here with the ABS line, I probably should have taken that out of all of its clips, or even up here, this 10mm that holds this little bracket on there. I could have just taken that out real quick, just like this. I probably should have done this ahead of time, but just trying to let you guys know so you can avoid causing an issue here. Just that right there now gives you a lot more movement here with that ABS line. Probably should also take it off over here behind this little bracket. Again, something that I should have done probably before taking this caliper off, but letting you guys know so that you can avoid this same little snafu. There we go. Now that's nice and loose. Just another little 10mm. Just goes right through this part of the bracket. And now you can see our ABS line is not stressed or anything, and I also took it off up here at the top. So caliper's out of the way, lines are out of the way, and we're clear to keep going here. All right, now you can see our rotor is just falling right off, which, you know, that's probably because it's been soaking in power steering fluid for a while. Now, if the rotor is stuck on here, you can get a couple bolts. These are M8 by 1.25, and you can thread them into these holes in the rotor, and they'll act as like a force screw or a press, and they'll press the rotor off the hub, and that should do the trick. Or you can just grab a little Tanya Harding or a small little sledgehammer and give it a little tap on either side, and a lot of times that will knock it loose and you can take this off. But ours is just coming right off easily. Now, a lot of times I will take a wire brush and try to clean this surface so that the new rotor won't get stuck. You've got some rust and buildup on here, not too bad, but I usually just use a little wire wheel and a drill. Just make sure you wear some safety glasses if you're going to do this. I usually will brush the surface of that hub with some of this copper anti-seize from Permatex. It just seems to help prevent the rotor from getting stuck, especially around this shoulder here. That looks good. Now, the new rotors are packed in oil or a little bit of a protectant to keep them from rusting while they're sitting on the shelf or during shipping. So I like to grab a little paper towel and some brake cleaner, spray that on there, and wipe them off. Now, it's not a bad idea to throw a lug nut on to help hold that rotor in place while we're putting the caliper back on, especially on these big, heavy rotors. Now, here's the caliper bolts with their washers, and I'm going to add some thread locker here. This is some blue medium strength from Permatex. It just helps keep those from backing out. That's way too much. Perfect. So now I'm just going to pick up the caliper and take it off of the hook. And I'm just going to position it right over here where it was. And we'll get that bolt started. And then we'll get this bottom one started. Now I'm just going to zip these on with the Milwaukee ratchet just to get them snug for right now. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to take off these hooks that were holding that caliper. And just so I don't forget, I'm going to go ahead and put these bolts back in place that held that ABS line. Just one up here at the top. And then we had this bolt right here that held the brake line bracket in place. And then finally this little bracket right here for the little ABS line. All right, and I'm just going to clip this ABS line back how it was, and that looks good. Now our kit came with new springs, the little W spring or M spring, along with the retainer spring for those pins. But we do have to reuse our slide pins, so I'm going to clean these up with some brake cleaner and a wire brush. Just remember to wear some safety glasses if you're going to use a wire wheel on a drill. We'll just make sure we coat these with some of that silicone-based caliper grease. It's not real high heat, but it will prevent these from corroding. I think that's what I'd like to use. This stuff right here, I'm going to use this VersaChem to coat these pins really well. Just want to make sure that they will slide in and out of these holes without getting bound up, but also hope this will protect them from any future corrosion. Let's just double check and clean these little holes in the caliper as well. That looks pretty good. Doesn't look like they're going to get stuck or bound up in there, so I think we'll be all right. I don't really like to use the real high temp stuff in here because that can get gummy and that can prevent these from moving as freely as I'd like. Now that brings me here to the brake pads, and we do have a nice rubberized shim on the back, and it's also labeled outer. These are the Import Direct. It's O'Reilly's house brand. And they have this coating on here that's designed to help burn in or bed in the brakes. But I'm still going to coat this with some of that Permatex Silicone Ceramic Extreme, this stuff right here. It just seems to help cut down on some of the brake noise or vibrations that cause brake noise. Just where it's going to make contact with those caliper pistons. Now I'm also going to use this stuff here, the synthetic caliper grease, on the edges. The reason I'm not using the same high temp stuff is that stuff, like I said, it can get sticky. This stuff seems to remain somewhat fluid, and I know that it's really not a high temp grease, and so some of it is going to burn right off, but it will help prevent these from binding, and as you can see, it just kind of helps it slide into place easier. There we go. I'm happy with that. This is also labeled inner right hand. This one has the little squealer that's designed to let you know when it's time to do your brakes again. Let's get some of that same Silicone Ceramic Extreme on the back. And then I'm going to do some of this flavor right here, this blue stuff, on the edges where it slides in and out. Just try not to get any grease on the rotor or the friction surface of the pad. And that looks perfect right there. I'm going to put just a little bit more grease on this pin. All right, and then I'm going to put this one through at the top. That looks perfect. Right, so here we have that new M or W spring. This one does go at the bottom, so just squeeze it in here. These little catches go into the holes in the brake pad. Same with this one here, just like that. And a little bit more grease on this bottom slide pin. And line that up and slide it through, like so. Now this spring here, just find the holes in the end of those slide pins, just like that, and put that clip through. And then push it through the little hole in the caliper till it clips in place. All right, now don't worry, I didn't forget. We still need to torque these caliper bolts to 79 foot-pounds. And you're done. Now it's very important, before you head out, you do need to go in the vehicle and step on the brake pedal to push these pads back out, pressing them up against the rotor where they need to be. When you do that, however, don't push the pedal all the way to the floor. That can damage the seals in your master cylinder. Just press it down about halfway several times until it feels firm, and then don't forget to double check the fluid level in your master cylinder as well. Make sure that that's all topped off where it needs to be, and you should be good to go. I hope you guys like this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. And of course, I'll get a link in the description to some of the parts and tools used in the video as well. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck.